We are just 2 days removed from the Kansas City Chiefs opening salvo of the 2024 season, a preseason competition with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And guys, I have to say that I believe the fandom is a flurry. The fandom is a fire. The fandom is a Twitter. The initial depth chart had NIKKO REMIGIO and JUSTYN Ross both below the threshold for who would be cut if the Chiefs remain with a sort of traditional dynamic as far as the number of players they will keep at the wide receiver position. However, the performances that we saw from both JUSTYN Ross and NIKKO REMIGIO, even if there was a fumble involved, allegedly, were above that of the replacement player, I guess I should say, once Hollywood Brown went down. I'll ask you, top of your head, did Sky Moore play against the Jaguars? We all know the answer is yes. We all know he was in the game. I will ask you, by your memory, did Sky Moore play against the Jaguars? Maybe. Sky Moore never existed at all. Now, I'll do you one better. Do you remember a single reception that Sky Moore had in the 2023 season? We all remember the 2022 season and how that ended. Do you remember a single reception Sky Moore? Maybe you have been imagining Sky Moore this entire time. Anyway, I am going to make a case for the inclusion of, and I don't mean to disparage Sky Moore, I just think that maybe he's not best suited for this roster with this team. We have seen no shortage of arguments against JUSTYN Ross because, well, Andy Reid doesn't like that type of receiver. Maybe it's a different type of receiver that doesn't quite fit here in Kansas City. We will get to that in a moment, but in order to make my case, in order to set the groundwork for the argument I'm going to make, in order to further solidify the fact that it's not just me going crazy right now and saying I defy all naysayers that both JUSTYN Ross and NIKKO REMIGIO are NFL players. We get this from Matt Stagner in the Winners and Losers article that comes out weekly after a Chiefs game. 5 winners and 3 losers from the Chiefs preseason opener. By the way, Leo Chanel included among the losers in this article. Don't do that, Matt. Don't make me choose between you and Leo. Okay? Anyway, wide receiver, these two were on the winners column, of course. Wide receiver JUSTYN Ross, on a 2nd and 13, quarterback Chris Oladokun lofted a pass from his own end zone. Ross, turned in a 23-yard toe-tapping catch on the sideline. Yes, maybe we're falling for it again. But Ross is still an intriguing go-up-and-get-it receiver. And he's the only one on the roster. Sure, it was only one catch, but it reminds us of Ross's talent and why the Chiefs are still trying to get him on the field. And further, receiver/returner NIKKO REMIGIO. It might be that Ross won't be the hardest project receiver to cut. REMIGIO led the team in receiving and had a nice 31-yard kick return too. Many felt he made a compelling case for himself during last season's training camp, and he's consistently been strong during this one. Receivers at the bottom of the depth chart have to contribute on special teams, and durability doesn't hurt either. If it comes down to Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, or REMIGIO, who would you rather see on September's 53-man roster? Well, Matt, I've got an answer for you. REMIGIO. It always reminds me of the line from Hook. What was the kid's name? Who they would chant his name? He was the leader of the Lost Boys before Robin Williams got there. For some reason, I'm linking it in my mind with REMIGIO, but I can't remember exactly what it was. And every time I see his name, REMIGIO. Anyway, here's what I'm going to do. So a couple good points are raised in these blurbs, but Ross is still an intriguing go up and get it receiver, and he's the only one on the roster. Now, far be it from me to take anything from Mr. Stagner here, but this is an argument that we've made on this channel as well. Also, durability doesn't hurt either. That is an argument we have made on this channel as well. This one, yeah, that makes sense. That's a good one. That the receivers will have to, on the bottom half of the depth chart, will have to contribute on special teams. That's a good one. I didn't necessarily put that together for NIKKO REMIGIO, but that 31-yard kick return, he looks good returning kicks. I was afraid that the new kick return rules was going to make it the paradigm here would be almost exclusively running backs because the contact is so close, right? The Niles Davis, Deneric Prince body types would have been, I think, really well suited for that. But here's what I've got. I've got the list of wide receivers in roughly the order that they are listed on the depth chart. So you have Hollywood Brown at 1. You have Rashee Rice at 2, and these are kind of either or. Oh no, I can't do that because it's going to throw off my... Xavier Worthy at 3, Justin Watson at 4, Sky Moore at 5, Justin Ross at 6, Mecole Hardman at 7, NIKKO REMIGIO at 8, and Kadarius Toney at 9. We have to wonder if Kadarius Toney, listed at 9, is something of a disciplinary thing, if it's something of an injury-related thing. We're not 100% sure on that. So I've got their sizes listed next to them. It is not. It should be immediately visible right here. The only guy over 6'2" on your roster is Justin Ross. So that's going to stand out immediately in Justin Ross's favor. One of 2 guys over 210 pounds with Justin Watson here. That's going to stand out immediately as well. So when we talk about Hollywood Brown, what type of wide receiver is he? I'm going to put these suggestions out there. Speed receivers, possession receivers, jump ball receivers, slot receivers, and bully ball. That's one that I'm just going to kind of throw in there because of the inclusion of Rashee Rice. Really, a bully ball receiver is a big, strong receiver. You get the ball in his hands whenever and wherever you can, and you dare a cornerback to make the play. I don't know exactly what to call that guy. It's not really a possession receiver, but kind of. It's like a possession receiver plus, right? So I'm going to posit bully ball receiver out there. So Hollywood Brown is a speed receiver, SPD. Rashee Rice, bully ball receiver, BB. Xavier Worthy, he is a speed receiver, SPD. Justin Watson, this is a possession receiver. He's fast enough, he's a big guy, and he doesn't provide a whole lot after the catch. That's what makes a bully ball receiver possession plus. Rashee Rice can catch the ball and run. A lot of possession wide receivers, they're making the reception, and you don't really get a whole lot after the reception, but you know the reception will be made. That's how I sort of classify the receivers. Sky Moore, which of those classifications, speed, possession, jump ball, slot receiver, or bully ball, would you deign to label Sky Moore? I'm genuinely asking because I don't know. I think that the immediate compulsion is for us to think of Sky Moore as a slot receiver. Well, then you have to define what that is, what that means. In my world, what slot receiver means is a guy who is talented at getting open, a guy who's usually going to catch the ball, a guy that's probably speed plus, right? So he's going to be a fast guy but maybe not the fastest in a straight line. Hunter Renfrow ran a terrible 40-yard dash. Hunter Renfrow was pretty dangerous in the slot for quite a while. Apparently, he's still a free agent. So, I'm going to skip Sky Moore. He's not a speed guy. He ran a good 40, decent 40. He's not a possession guy because he's not big and strong. He's not definitely going to make the catch. He's not a jump ball guy. I believe he had a sub 40 vertical and he's 5'10". Plus, so another thing that makes you a good jump ball guy is body control. Tyreek Hill, ironically, despite the fact that he's a little guy and he's a fast guy, and I don't know what his vertical would be. He never really did that at a pro day. He wasn't at the combine. It seems like it would be pretty good, but would it be elite enough to make up for the fact that he is a 5'9" wide receiver? Maybe 5'10"? No, but he has extreme body control. He goes up and he controls where he's coming down. He controls where he's spinning. He controls where his hands are. He has body control in the air. That made him a good jump ball receiver. Slot receiver, we just talked about how I would not consider Sky Moore a slot receiver. Bully ball. No. So I'm going to skip Sky Moore because I don't know what he adds. I don't know what type of receiver he is. Justyn Ross. I should not be highlighted here. I'm going to get anal retentive. Justyn Ross is a jump ball receiver. I believe that he could be a possession wide receiver. I believe that he could be a bully ball wide receiver, potentially. We haven't seen too much of that from him. He is an elite body control guy. We saw that back to his freshman year in college. Okay, so that's what he brings. Mecole Hardman, he's not a slot guy. A lot of people are going to think he's a slot guy. He's a speed guy. He offers one-directional speed. He offers no jitter, no wiggle. We know that he is a threat to not catch the ball. So that takes the slot receiver thing kind of off the table. NIKKO REMIGIO. I am going to argue that this is a slot wide receiver. He's talented at getting open. He is talented at catching the ball. I think there will be plus after the catch abilities potentially. I don't know that we have necessarily seen so much of that so far. He is a slot wide receiver, despite the fact I believe he ran a 4.58 40-yard dash or something like that. What about Kadarius Toney? This is the other type of slot wide receiver. NIKKO REMIGIO is going to get open. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to sell out for the catch. So the three elements, in my opinion, of a slot receiver are speed, getting open, and catching the ball. NIKKO REMIGIO is getting open, and he's catching the ball. Kadarius Toney has speed, and he's getting open. Step 1, speed. Step 2, get open. Step 3, it's like the underwear gnomes. Just you're switching the profit to the second line there. But this is, in my opinion, why this is going to work out in the favor of Justyn Ross and NIKKO REMIGIO. You have two speed guys at the top of the roster in Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown. That's plenty. Two speed guys is plenty. They've got injury concerns, but you've got two of them. You have all of the downfield threat that you could want. Rashee Rice is a bully ball wide receiver. He is a possession plus wide receiver. Get the football in his hands, dare somebody to make a tackle. That's what's going on there. So speed kills, right? So you can afford to have 2 speed guys on the roster at the top of the thing. Can you have a wide receiver core composed completely of possession guys? Yeah, but it's going to be real slow going, right? Can you have a wide receiver core composed completely of slot guys? Not going to work out. Completely of bully ball guys? Well, that's just basically saying, how many number 1 wide receivers do you want? So that mix, speed, bully ball, speed, makes a lot of sense. I say all the time on the channel, Justin Watson is a good number 4, a great number 5. Why? Why does that make sense? Well, he's a possession type wide receiver. If all of your other receivers can't get open, you can throw it to a possession guy. Now, he had a rough season last year a little bit with catching. Not as bad as many of the other receivers on the roster. He's normally a guy that you can trust. He's normally a guy that you can send on a post route and wing it up there, and maybe he'll come down with it. It's good to have that guy on the depth chart. You know what would be great to have on the depth chart? Maybe above a possession receiver? A slot guy. You don't have any slot guys. I think Xavier Worthy could be a slot guy. I think Xavier Worthy has the body control skills that once he gets acclimated to the NFL, he can do a little bit more route running stuff. He does not have to be a downfield guy. Once he learns how to take the contact at the NFL level, which I think will probably be a career-long problem for him just due to his size. But once he figures out how to do it, there's other guys that have done it. If he figures out how to do that, he could be, in my opinion, possibly an elite slot wide receiver. A slot wide receiver, kind of like NIKKO REMIGIO, would be nice to have on the field. But what if it's not 3rd and 4? What if it's like 3rd and 12? What if it's 3rd and Jawan Taylor did it again? Right? Well, then you want Justin Ross on the field because he brings a different skill set to this competition. He brings a different skill set to the offense. He brings a different match-up problem for opposing defensive backs. Once you start getting 4 corners deep on a lot of these rosters, look at it yourself. You're talking about guys that are 5'9". That's not going to match up real well against Justin Ross, who is 6'4", who can jump and has elite body control. That's why he's able to moss guys every once in a while. And we haven't even really dug into the fact that Justin Ross has elite hands. We haven't seen him get the opportunities. We saw Justin Ross at the college level make some of the nastiest grabs you will ever see. And that's without a Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball. Patrick Mahomes, a guy who's going to be able to place the ball wherever he wants. That throw we saw from Chris Oladokun, that was basically what he did was threw the football at the back of the corner's head. You're not going to turn around and find that ball because it's in your face mask. That's how Justin Ross went up and got it like that. So when you look at the other wide receivers on the roster, number 1, I just don't see what Sky Moore brings. I just don't understand what I don't see a skill set with Sky Moore. I admit I was wrong. When Sky Moore was drafted, I thought 100%. This is a route running technician. This guy's going to be getting open left and right. This guy's always going to be in the flats with something, with some type of release valve for Patrick Mahomes. I was wrong. He is not that. All of the little stutter steps and hop skips and everything that he's doing, it's just wasted motion. He's proven that in the NFL. They're not buying it at the NFL level. I was sold. I was wrong. What about McCole Hardman? Tell me what Mecole Hardman brings to the roster that Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy do not. Because I can tell you something that Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy bring to the roster that Mecole Hardman does not. Both of those guys seem to be extremely assignment sound. Mecole Hardman, just not. Just isn't. Both of those guys, Hollywood Brown, provides a little bit of wiggle. Xavier Worthy has really elite stop ability. Mecole Hardman, real good in a straight line. Now, Mecole Hardman's more compact than either of those guys. 5'10", 187, he's solid. He's solid. I don't know what that buys you. What about Kadarius Toney? Kadarius Toney needs to figure out how to not have 9 thumbs. There's Bullet Tooth Tony, if you've ever seen that movie that I don't think I can say the title of on YouTube. There's Bullet Tooth Tony and 9 Finger somebody, right? Well, this is 9 Thumb Tony. It's kind of combining 2 of the characters from that movie, whose title I don't think I can say on YouTube. So, in my opinion, this is the reason. Looking at this right here is the reason why. So just real quick, I forgot to mention this. Mecole Hardman, 5'10", 187, pretty compact. NIKKO REMIGIO, 5'9", 187, a little bit more compact. He's not quite as jacked as Mecole. You've got to give Mecole that. But here's the thing. Fat, I'm not calling NIKKO REMIGIO fat, but I don't think he's as jacked as Mecole. A little bit of fat on your body provides you cushioning. The type of cushioning that may have saved Hollywood Brown from a single tackle into the 2024 season, finding himself on the injured list. So, what am I saying here? Why am I making this video? There are clear and compelling reasons why you would pass up Sky Moore, despite the fact that he was on the field immediately once Hollywood Brown went down. He was off the field with the starters once the starters came out, etc., etc., etc. Maybe I'm wrong. But if I'm wrong, I don't think it's about this analysis. I think it's about what the Chiefs think that Sky Moore brings to the table. I think it's because the Chiefs are going to be valuing assignment sound football more than what I'm letting on here, right? Sky Moore does not seem to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Sky Moore seems to be a high effort blocker. Sky Moore seems to, etc., etc., etc. He just doesn't get open. He just doesn't catch the ball. That's it as far as I know. So anyway, that's what I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, consider hitting the subscribe button to stick around for more, because the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, and I hope to have you back for the next one.